First of all, I want to recognize a few people before I get going. And first and foremost, I want to recognize someone who just was up here a few moments ago, and that's Dominique Floyd. I've gotten the pleasure of working with her for the past 7 years, and I can't tell you how much she means to me, how much she means to, as you heard from Savannah, how much she means to the Front Porch community, and how much she does to make Front Porch happen every single day. She is amazing, and I don't know, Front Porch would not be what it is today without her. And she does a lot of things that are behind the scenes, like she said, and oftentimes don't get recognized. She put on this entire event tonight, and she's absolutely amazing, and I just want to make sure that you all know that. So thank you, Dom. Also, I want to recognize 3 other amazing staff people. So wherever you are, and I don't know where all of you are at, but Emma, Jenna, and Haley, if you'd stand just real quick. There's 2, and there's 3. Thank you. There are 3 interns this year, and they are absolutely amazing, and they too do so much to make Front Porch hum every single day, and they are interacting with students nonstop, and they are planning all of the programs and things that we do, and the Wednesday nights and the Sundays and the camping trips and all of the different things, and they do so much. So I am so incredibly grateful for the 3 of you. So thank you, each of you. And one other group of people that I want to recognize real quick is if you are a current Front Porch student, a student who participates in Front Porch, or you have been in the past, if you are able, if you would stand up real quick, I just think that's pretty cool for everyone to see. All right, you all can sit down. I love all of you so much. I'm so glad you're here tonight. We do this because of you. And as I tell students every single Wednesday when we're serving 300 people a meal, if the students didn't come, we wouldn't do it. And so it's so much because they come and they partake in it and they believe in it and they want to jump in and be a part of it. And so it's such a beautiful thing. I can't tell you how good it feels and how much it means to me that you are all here tonight, every single one of you. And I hope above everything else tonight that you feel welcome. And I hope that you came into this space, and I hope that you feel known. I hope that you feel heard tonight. I hope you feel safe tonight. That you feel a part of something bigger that is happening. Something so much bigger than is going on than each of us individually. I know some of you came here tonight and you know a lot about Front Porch, and you've heard about it, and you've been a part of it for years, some of you longer than I have been a part of it. I know some of you came here tonight and you don't know much about Front Porch. This might be your first kind of taste of Front Porch as a community. But I want you to know that wherever you land on that scope, that I want you to know that I believe that you matter immensely. As Michael put it, like every moment and every person matter. We believe that so much at Front Porch. And I truly believe that every single one of you here tonight has something significant to contribute to the Front Porch community. So your mere presence, I know John mentioned the zeros and the checks, which yes, that's why we came here tonight. But I want you to know, if nothing else, you being here and you being present at this event, that it is profound. And so I want to celebrate that. I'd love now to do something which might be awkward. I don't know if it is or not. But I'd love for you to take a moment and just look around the room. And it is a beautiful setting. But look at the other people in this room. And I'd love for you to look across the table and the people that are sitting across from you. The person that's sitting on your right, the person that is sitting on your left. That's great. You're even saying hello to one another. Thank you for the lights, Ryan. Some of you might know, some of these people you might know well. Some of them you might have met tonight for the first time. But I want you to recognize again that what we are doing tonight is unique and that it is special. I say it every single Wednesday night, and I have friends that are sitting, Wes is one of them, they're sitting in the back corner over there, that still make fun of me every single time I do this. I think they love it though, it's like an endearing thing. But every single Wednesday we gather about 300 students together to have a meal. And I tell those students every single Wednesday that there is truly something special when we come together around a meal. And there is something beautiful and profound that is going on. But so often we miss it because we're so focused on something else, or we don't take the time to stop and recognize the profoundness of the moment. There is something bigger happening when we come together to share a meal. And I think, again, way too often we glide through life without pausing for a moment to reflect on the magnitude of the moment. So I just wanted to do that tonight. So that's what we just did. But this is a profound moment, and it's special. Diana Butler Bass, in her most recent book, Freeing Jesus, and it's a book that we as a staff are reading together right now, she writes this. She writes, perhaps the simplest thing to understand in the entire New Testament is that Jesus invites his friends to dinner. All of them, respectable and not. The earliest followers of Jesus gathered at table, making the meal or feast the focus for the new community, causing one scholar to refer to the whole Jesus movement as a banquet of unusual friends, men and women together who turned the social order of table relations on its head. So as you have been sitting here tonight, eating, drinking, listening, talking, I hope you know that there is so much more going on than simply a fundraiser that you have been invited to. This is indeed a profound moment. In the quote I just read, Bass mentioned the meal being something that turned the social order on its head, that presented a different way of being than that which was customary within society. My daughter Audrey turns 16 on Monday. When we moved here almost 9 years ago, she was a first grader, so it's crazy to me how time has flown by. Audrey is someone who teaches me so... I do not want to cry right now, and I don't know why I started crying. Audrey is someone who teaches me so much about life and this world that we live in and what it means to be human. And one of the many things that she has taught me is that the younger generations are looking for the social order to be turned on its head. They are craving new, fresh ways of interacting with the world over so many of the ways that have been presented to them thus far. They are no longer satisfied with all the answers that have been handed down to them by prior generations. They truly believe that this world that we inhabit can be a better place. But oftentimes they get incredibly frustrated because they don't feel like the rest of the world wants the same thing. What is so remarkable is that the teachings of this rabbi who lived 2,000 years ago named Jesus, who walked this earth and invited people to gather around the table, those teachings are still just as radical today as they were 2,000 years ago. They are just as relevant today. It's why Front Porch as an organization has chosen to build a community with those teachings as its foundation. Teachings which over and over again choose to recognize the humanity in the other. It's what we always say is the starting place at Front Porch, people's humanity. We have created a model of community that is so vastly different from anything that I have ever experienced or been a part of in my life. In my mind, it's what sets Front Porch apart. Instead of starting with a mold or a system or a formula that we would squeeze people into or through, we reverse that process. Because we don't believe starting with molds or systems is how life works. We don't believe that's how God works, how the divine works. So we built this space, both physically and metaphorically, where all sorts of possibility can unfold, where all sorts of imagination can happen, where this movement Jesus talks about that he so often referred to as the kingdom of God can unfold and expand in beautiful ways that none of us could have foreseen or imagined. Front Porch is a place. It is a community of possibility. Because in and through this space and community, people experience God, as you've heard tonight. They experience the divine spirit, the divine flow that I believe is trying to pull, and I've talked about this time and time again at Front Porch and at events like this divine spirit that is trying to pull all of us towards something better, something more loving, more kind, more compassionate, more hospitable, more just, more peaceful, more connected. And Front Porch gives students the opportunity to enter into that flow, to say yes to it, to say yes to the thing that Jesus asked people to be: love. Through Front Porch, students tangibly experience this love, and then they are given the space to participate in that love, to enter into it, to become part of the process of not only imagining a better way forward, but actually being able to embody a better way forward. Jesus was inviting people into a different way of life, a different way of being, that they would begin living a different way than those who were in power had convinced them life was supposed to look like. And those who did so had their lives literally transformed from what they were to something new. They began living the way of love. They embodied love to the world. And I think a lot of people over the years have misunderstood or twisted what Jesus was doing. It wasn't some sort of magical transaction that Jesus was inviting people into. It was a way of life. It was a way of being human. Jesus invited people to be more fully human, to embrace their humanity. And I believe that that is what Front Porch is doing. This fall, it has been so exciting to welcome students, as you've seen, back into our space, and for Front Porch to, in many ways, get to reimagine how it's going to exist within our community. So a few things. The coffee shop, as you've heard, has been back open, and it's been busier than ever, which is so exciting to see. We picked up right where we left off pre-shutdown in terms of in-person meals at the beginning of this quarter with Mark McGilvery. Raise your hand, Mark. Mark's right there, who's an amazing person, and him and his team from Orca and a few others came up, and they brought a Santa Maria-style barbecue, the length of like a Suburban, and they parked it right in front of Front Porch, and for all day long they cooked tri-tip. And as you can imagine, people were smelling it all over Cal Poly's campus. And then we served they made enough for 500. We served about 400 something meals and eventually gave all the food away. But it was an absolute blast. And since then, we've been serving about 300 people every single Wednesday. And there's many of you in this room that have helped make that happen. So I thank you. Sunday mornings are back, where we are exploring more deeply, again, like you've heard, the why behind this community, many of the things I've been talking about tonight. We've hosted an open mic night of our own. We've partnered with the Cal Poly Pride Center to host another. Interns have been hosting a field trip every other week to get students. This is a brand new thing. You can go on a field trip with an intern. And so there's supposed to have been 3. We've done 2 so far, I think. But there was one to the thrift store. So you could go with an intern to the thrift store and just get off campus. You could go with an intern to the art museum and just, again, get off campus and do something different. We're going to be doing hikes and other creative things as well. We have around 70 volunteers this fall, which is a drop-off from what we were pre-COVID. We had somewhere around 140, and we understood that. If you think about it, current third-year students got to experience Front Porch for 2 quarters, and that's it. And so the only students that we currently are working with that have experienced Front Porch more than that are our 4th years, and they got a full year. So it's been a rebuilding process, but we currently have about 70 volunteers this fall who are serving coffee and being a welcoming presence as we continue to build that community up. And we host regular events for those volunteers as well. We hosted a craft fair recently along with 3 local bands that was attended by hundreds of students. We're continuing to partner with the Cal Poly Food Pantry to get meals to students who are in need. We have an intentional living community right next door to Front Porch with 6 amazing students who are learning what it means to live together around a shared common vision and take on a more visible role within the Front Porch community. So I hope as you've been here tonight that you have begun to get an idea of just how unique this thing that we're celebrating tonight is. That what we are doing and the way in which we are doing it is something that others simply aren't. It's why I have committed my life to this organization. I believe in it that much. That this is an organization that is not only transforming students' lives and the way they view themselves as well as their place in the world, but one which is paving a better path forward. It's why I have been hinting for the past couple of years about what's next for Front Porch. If you've come to this the past 2 years, I've hinted at there's going to be something more to come, but COVID kind of put a pause on that. And after 2 years of work, we've gotten to a place where we are beginning to restructure Front Porch organizationally in such a way that we will be freed up to truly start dreaming about what lies ahead and future Front Porch locations. The next 6 months will be an exciting process of reworking bylaws, getting the new board in place, and revisiting job descriptions, all to make sure that we are set up to succeed in this next season of Front Porch's history. And I can't wait to keep you all updated on that process. But none of this happens without you. The staff and I have the privilege of running this organization on a day-to-day basis, but you are the heart and soul of this organization. You keep it going. Without you, this community is not the driving force that you have heard described tonight through video, through students, through President Armstrong, through others, through John. It's not what I can do. It's not what the staff can do. It's not what the Front Porch board can do. It's about what we collectively can do together. And I truly believe that is when our theme tonight is come together. And I truly believe that when we come together, that we will be able to make the most beautiful change. Our budget for the year right now is up from last year. It got back up. It went, if you were at the dinner last year, we talked, or not the dinner, it was an online event. But if you were at that online event last year on Zoom, we talked about how the budget came down. Well, it's back up this year because we're back in person, so everything kind of came back up. So it's around $350,000 for the year, meaning because we opened back up, it got up to that level. To date, we have brought in roughly $250,000. So we have right around $100,000 to raise between tonight and the end of the year. And my hope is tonight that we can make a major dent in that. Something really cool, which I hope you got the opportunity to see, we tried to publicize it like crazy, is that we have $70,000 worth of anonymous matching funds tonight. Yeah, pretty cool. Very cool. Never in the history of Front Porch has that happened before. But I'd love to see us go even beyond that. And with what we were able to hopefully raise tonight, combined with end-of-year giving, we're hopeful that it will allow us to end the year not only in the black, but to be set up again for the future and some of these things that we are dreaming about coming up ahead. But we want you to know that whatever it is you can give tonight, and we know there's people here that have the resources to give a lot, and we know there's people here that have the resources to not give anything. And we want you to know that that's okay. Again, like I said at the very beginning, the fact that you are merely here, that matters profoundly. But we need whatever it is that you can give to Front Porch, because we truly believe that in coming together tonight to support Front Porch, that this is something that will set up the organization to reach students, to impact students' lives for generations to come. So for those of you who have the means and are so inclined, I ask you to consider tonight to helping us eliminate our current deficit with a one-time gift, but I'd also ask you to consider setting up a monthly donation. It's one of the things, and John can tell you this, he works for a nonprofit, it's one of the hardest things for a nonprofit, also for churches, is having that cash flow. So we get big gifts throughout the year and certain times of the year, it's often at the end of the year, but not having a ton of monthly donations makes it really hard to operate. We're operating in the red for the majority of the year, which makes it really difficult. We want to try our best to get away from that. So if you're able, again, we love the one-time gifts, so please don't stop doing that. But if you'd like, we'd really encourage you after tonight to set up a monthly donation to Front Porch. And there's multiple ways to do that, and you're going to hear a little bit about that in a moment. I wanted to tell you lastly kind of what your money actually does, and I've done this the past couple of years, and I just think it's helpful to hear what these numbers actually tangibly do at Front Porch, whether it's a $500 gift or a $1,000 gift, or you keep going. So a $500 gift tonight would fund 2 of our Wednesday meals. We gather 30 times a year, every Wednesday of each Cal Poly quarter, and serve 250 to 300 students a big meal, and we have a lot of fun gathering around that meal. And it's a significant part of students' weekly rhythm, as many of the students here can tell you during their time at Cal Poly. It becomes a weekly landmark in their week. A $2,000 gift tonight would cover the costs associated with the 200 or so one-on-one meetings with students that our staff has during the course of the quarter. Myself and Dom, you heard from Michael and Savannah, and we meet regularly with them, and the rest of our staff, we meet regularly one-on-one with students, and $2,000 gift tonight would cover about 200 of those. A $5,000 gift tonight would keep the doors of our amazing space open for a month. A space which so many students call home, a space which has been the setting and catalyst for so much transformation in people's lives. A $15,000 gift tonight would pay for one intern for the 10-month period that they are an intern during the year. And this year we have 3 who I just introduced a little bit ago. Our interns are typically the staff members who live on site, and the focus of our internship program is to give them upfront, hands-on experience of both creating and developing environments where genuine relationships can happen, with the hope that they would then go out into the world with a passion to make it a better place in their own way. So I want you to know that your money is making real, tangible change. Our daughter Audrey, again, back to her for a moment, likes to frequently poke fun at me. It's one of her favorite things to do. And she oftentimes pokes fun at what I do for work, but in a very endearing sort of way. And anytime I start talking about the importance of relationships or connection or community or love, or that us sharing a meal together actually matters, all those things I was just talking about, she'll look at me and she'll throw up 2 peace signs and say, #life together. But I know deep down that she has a profound respect for the ways in which Front Porch is challenging and questioning the status quo and pushing for a better way forward. And that her and her 2 brothers are so much of why I pour so much into this organization. I want Christie's and my children to have a community like this one day when they go off to college. One where they will be truly known, where they will be truly seen, where they will be truly heard. One that will create a space for them to question and challenge the world that they find themselves in. One that will transform them. One that will invite them to collectively imagine and participate in a more beautiful way forward. Thank you so much tonight for being here. I'm going to invite Mr. Wes Zimmerman back up here.